Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Adjusted for Risk podcast here from the shores of Lake Tahoe. Today's episode is sponsored by the award-winning Zephyr, which helps advisors, wealth managers, financial analysts, and investment professionals make more informed investment decisions. Since Zephyr's inception 30-some years ago, Zephyr has been recognized as an industry leader in investment analytics. That status hasn't been built on years of overnight. It's been built on years of thought-provoking content and research, an unparalleled presentation of analytics that help investment professionals tell their story, and the creation of new analytics that help these same investment professionals tell their entire story, not just part of it. Through a series of Zephyr StatFact videos, I will help you make sense of some of these investment metrics that are used, or in some cases, maybe not used enough today, and how you should use them. Some of you may be familiar with the Zephyr StatFacts, which was a creation or the brainchild of former Zephyr colleague Mark Otto. So I'm going to take some of these fantastic resources and put them in a video format. There are a lot of great investment metrics, and in some cases it can be like alphabet soup, which can make it confusing in determining what metric an investment professional should use. So hopefully this series of StatFact podcasts will make it easier for you to understand these investment metrics and make it easier for you to determine which one you should use. In this edition, I'm going to focus on alpha, which is a return risk trade-off statistic that measures the risk-adjusted added value an active manager adds above and beyond the passive benchmark. Now, alpha is one of the more popular investment analytic measures, in large part because it measures a manager's skill or ability to add value over a passive benchmark. But it's important to remember that alpha first adjusts for the degree of market risk undertaken by the manager. Alpha is what remains after the market risk, or beta, is netted out. So what is a good number? One would like to see a positive value for alpha, and the higher the better. Positive alpha indicates that after adjusting for market or systematic risk, which is measured by beta, the manager was able to outperform a passive benchmark. Alpha can be generated by superior security selection, over underweighting sectors, market timing, or any variety of factors. A positive alpha indicates that those active management decisions paid off. It is entirely possible that a manager could outperform the benchmark and have a negative alpha. If the manager undertook excess risk and only generated marginal outperformance versus the benchmark, the manager could exhibit negative alpha. So what are some of the limitations? Alpha measures returns relative to a market benchmark. Okay, a manager can have a respectable alpha, let's say an alpha of positive 3.5. But the overall returns of the manager could be negative if the benchmark itself had negative performance. Because the returns are relative to a benchmark, one must compare apples to apples in order for the analysis to be relevant. The benchmark must be an appropriate benchmark for the comparison. So what are typical values? After conducting some peer group analysis, the data suggests that the median manager typically has an alpha near zero. Some funds do better than the benchmark and some worse. but the distribution is centered around 0. The range of alphas is widest in small cap US stocks and international stocks, which are often perceived as more inefficient asset classes where active managers tend to take larger bets. So with that, alpha is a fantastic risk return measure that is very popular and one that can really be used in all market cycles, and one that is probably or most likely part of everyone's investment metric bench. So with that, thank you so much for watching and listening to this week's episode of Adjusted for Risk. You can watch previous Zephyr StatFact episodes of the Adjusted for Risk podcast on our Adjusted for Risk YouTube channel, as well as on Spotify and iHeartRadio. You can also view our show notes and additional information regarding alpha and other investment metrics on our A Wealth of Insight from 6,237 feet.com blog. Thank you very much for listening and have a great rest of your week.